In just 4 months, a man siphoned off more than 103 million rand from one of South Africa's largest banks, and he did it all without a single weapon. No ski mask. No gun. No shattered vault. Just a keyboard, and genius-level deception. This isn't a movie. It's the real-life story of Xolela Masebe, an IT specialist who pulled off one of the most shocking heists in African banking history, using nothing but his mind. Born in Manamani village, in the heart of Cape Province, Xolela came from humble beginnings. But ambition took him far. He landed a high-paying job as a systems engineer at the Absa headquarters in Johannesburg, a role that gave him access to the bank's most secure cyber infrastructure. Despite little being publicly known about his formal education, his skills were undeniable. Trusted. Quiet. Precise. And that trust gave him direct access to Meridian, the bank's highly encrypted core system. What no one knew was that Xolela had a plan, and it was already in motion. Starting in September, he began exploiting the system. Slowly, methodically, he started transferring millions out of corporate and internal accounts. At first, it was 3 million, then more, and more. The money began appearing in various accounts, not just his. Friends. Family. Even a local traditional healer received generous donations. Properties were purchased. Cars. Lavish items. He bragged. He flexed. He celebrated. But behind every great fraud, there's always someone who talks, someone who sees. That someone was a thimble, a woman close to him. Not his wife, but his girlfriend. And her report would soon shake the ground beneath Xolela's perfect scheme. The web of fraud was wider than anyone expected. Athimble's account was just one of 6 primary bank accounts that received stolen funds directly from Absa's systems. But it didn't stop with her. Her mother, Nalitha Constance Mbani, was also listed as a beneficiary. Investigators later confirmed that she had received hundreds of thousands of rand into her personal bank account, no questions asked. Another woman, Nelwa Namlatsi, believed to be another close associate of Xolela, also received large, unexplained transfers. And then came more names, more accomplices. A 29-year-old man named Gomani, a friend of a Western Cape-based company director from Madina Kabivu Trading Services, was arrested. Millions had flowed into his business account, money that allegedly originated from the same siphoned Absa pool. Interestingly, Gomani and Xolela had a shared past. Both had once worked as systems engineers at Capec Bank, possibly where the seeds of this scheme were first planted. But Xolela's arrest in 2022 revealed something darker. He was already standing trial for another crime, a 3.4 million fraud case involving 5 other individuals. The charges involved funneling funds into personal accounts through 28 separate fraudulent transactions. Authorities quickly realized they were up against a sophisticated network. One investigator noted. Finding all the individuals involved might prove difficult. Some were already planning to flee. As investigators dug deeper, another name emerged, Handai Mfalio, from Cape Town. She allegedly used a portion of the stolen funds to purchase a luxury AMG vehicle, linked to a dealership in Johannesburg. The car bore her name, until it didn't. Records revealed the dealership had switched the purchase under another alias, and the vehicle had been paid in full, cash, directly from a Tox dealership account. The paper trail was a mess, but it was damning. Some suspects used the money to pay off personal debts, others went on shopping sprees for luxury clothing and cars. One woman, known as Finalfa, had more than a minor role. She was not only instructed to register assets in someone else's name, she personally received stolen funds into her own bank account. Another figure, Upadelahiza, also surfaced. She had millions deposited directly into her account. Eventually, she turned herself into police and was released on bail. But the arrests didn't stop. A man named Ayanda was taken into custody. So was Mabelang, based in KZN, after investigators found large transfers originating from Xolela's channel. Even Xolela's wife, Xolela, was named. A former specialist at the Department of Education, she allegedly received a significant sum, transferred to her as a gift. Another name surfaced, Xolela Masebe, a lawyer and businessman from Queenstown. He, too, was arrested. His wife was later found to have received over R1 million during a suspicious property sale. Even official documents show that one of the questionable business transactions involved property registered under the name of a company, but conveniently left vague in the case files. At this stage, it remains unclear if formal charges have been filed for this specific deal. Among the growing list of individuals linked to the fraud was Xolela Masebe. His father, Xolela Masebe, was also reportedly a beneficiary, having received large sums of money. Another name? Xolela Cedric Ndebele, and Xolela Masebe, both were arrested for their alleged involvement in facilitating the money movement. Then came Athembel's spending spree. She reportedly purchased 7 vehicles, some of them luxury cars, and paid entirely in cash. Real estate records showed additional purchases in Khayelitsha Township, located in the Cape Flats. Lavish. Bold. Reckless. Receipts and surveillance logs later revealed extravagant shopping trips, including a R25,000 spree at a single designer shop in the city, all in one day. If this story is starting to sound unbelievable, you're not alone. But every line comes from court documents, bank records, and eyewitness testimony. Meanwhile, Xolela Masebe, the man at the center of it all, was under tight surveillance. He had been transferred to Queen's Magistrate Court, with his case set to be moved to the Parish Crime Court in Ekurhuleni. But the story didn't end in the courtroom. Just days after his girlfriend's release on R50,000 bail, Xolela returned to his home village, supposedly to lay low. That decision would cost him his life. On the evening of January 26, just weeks after being granted bail, 2 unknown gunmen approached Xolela while he was sitting outside his home, entertaining 4 friends under a tree. As he stood up to greet the men, gunshots erupted. The sound of bullets echoed through the village. The 4 friends scattered for cover, but it was too late. Xolela Masebe was shot dead on the spot. He was 32 years old. His murder raised new suspicions. Was this a revenge killing tied to the Absa fraud case? Was someone trying to silence him before he could speak in court? Speculation ran wild, but official charges against Xolela were formally dropped after his death certificate was submitted. Yet, many believed justice was far from done. Before his death, Xolela faced a string of charges, including theft, money laundering, conspiracy, fraud, possession of proceeds of crime. Many of his co-accused remain out on bail, and the case continues to unfold. In June, prosecutors confirmed that millions of rands were still unaccounted for, along with a long list of luxury assets, allegedly purchased using the stolen funds. Despite months of investigation, the full extent of the stolen funds remains unknown. To date, the state has only been able to recover a fraction, just a few million rand, from the massive Absa fraud that totaled over R103 million. Several high-value assets tied to the stolen funds are still missing. Some properties, vehicles, and bank accounts are under review, but many remain untraceable. Either hidden behind shell companies or moved offshore. "We are still working on it," an official close to the investigation said. There are pending recovery efforts, but a large portion of the money may never be found. The story of Xolela Masebe is one of intelligence gone rogue, a mind that outsmarted the system, but couldn't outrun consequences. Thank you for following this story. If you found this documentary insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and help us uncover more hidden stories like this one. Trust is powerful, but dangerous when misused. In any system, whether it's a family, a company, or a billion-dollar bank, trust is the foundation. Without it, everything collapses. But what happens when that trust is placed in the wrong hands? Xolela Masebe was a brilliant man. Quiet. Focused. Highly skilled. He didn't break into the system, he was invited in. Absa Bank didn't see him as a threat. They saw him as a protector, someone meant to keep the system running. And that's where the danger began. You see, trust gives access. It opens doors. It bypasses suspicion. It creates blind spots. And when that trust is abused, it doesn't just break rules, it destroys systems from within. Xolela didn't need to hack the bank. He didn't need a team of cybercriminals. He didn't even need a plan B. Why? Because the bank gave him everything he needed: access, credentials, and most importantly, confidence that he wouldn't be questioned. The damage wasn't just financial. It was emotional. It was institutional. A bank that had once prided itself on its security was now exposed, not by a stranger, but by someone on the payroll. It's a powerful reminder for all of us. Trust is a double-edged sword. In the right hands, it builds empires. In the wrong hands, it burns them down. Whether you're running a business, managing a team, or even just navigating personal relationships, trust wisely. Not all loyalty is real. Not all silence is innocent. Not every smile means safety. If someone has the power to build, they also have the power to destroy. And the closer they are to the heart of your system, the more damage they can do. Xolela Masebe didn't wear a mask. He didn't hide in the shadows. He walked into the building every day, shook hands, shared coffee, nodded at colleagues, and still stole over 100 million rand. So the lesson here is simple, but deadly. Trust is powerful, but when misused, it becomes the most dangerous tool of all.